How can you be good at something when you don't want to be good? My name is Yi. I'm the owner of PlayHouse. I'm one of the owners, and currently, obviously, the best tattoo artist at PlayHouse. You know? PlayHouse is pretty straightforward. It's a tattoo shop, and the whole vibe of it is like a playhouse. I don't know if it's because we're all playful people that just refuse to grow up, or because we called it PlayHouse, everybody kind of treat it like PlayHouse. Either way, it's a really, I would say like a fun place. That's one of the characteristics that we have.
Once the skin starts to swell, it turns all red and stuff. That's when you just gotta suck it up and take it, literally. I've always been into art, but I just didn't really take it seriously. It was more of a hobby. So after I went to school, I went to Waterloo, and then I was only there for a semester. I didn't really like my program in the school, so I decided to just go somewhere else. So I took a break. I was trying to decide what I wanted to do, and then my friend ended up coming here to get a tattoo. She talked to Yi, and then she showed Yi my drawings, which were posted on my Instagram. And then he liked my work, so then he told her to let me know that they're looking for apprentices, and she told me, and I was like, that's actually pretty cool. So then I ended up just applying, and then I got 2 interviews, and then I started my apprenticeship, and yeah, I love it. I feel like it was meant to be.
Personally, I don't feel like I work here. I work probably like 7 days a week. People don't feel like they're like at work here. It's fun. We just chill, we just tattoo, we laugh a bunch, we joke. There's no limits, so sometimes it could be pretty intense. But the whole idea of it is all for laughter.
Should I stop flexing? Like I'm losing blood in my brain.
Like what, you're fat?
Whoa! Wow, that's hard talk coming from a girl. Hey.
Our visions kind of like consistently change, but one of the core value I would say that we have that we've been running off of is the fact that we kind of wanted to create, and I'm just speaking on behalf of everybody, that we kind of want to create a infrastructure that serves a different purpose as what the society serves right now. If you look at the way how society hierarchy works, is that we have a gigantic pool of under people, right? And then you have a smaller but still a gigantic pool of like managers. It goes up so high, and this one hierarchy can contain like hundreds of thousands of people, which is not how humans normally function. What we want to do is kind of change the industry standard of how people work and what it means to kind of work. We want to, like, for example, our artists make their own schedule. We're not trying to be on top of their shit and be like, yo, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. We want to create like a structure where they have the choice to kind of determine what they actually care about and go for exactly what they care about. So like, run it more like a passion rather than you have to do this and this is what you're told to do. The idea of gifting back the ability for people to be able to question and have the responsibility, have the creativity to kind of determine the structure of a company without being the owner, without being like the person in power.
When I was in university, I didn't really like what I was doing. I was doing industrial design. Big influence from my buddy, Yi. He's also an old friend of mine since high school. I just messaged him if I can come in as apprentice. First, I wasn't really sure if it was right path for me to take. I kind of went back and forth from work and apprenticeship. So one day I decided that, okay, I'm gonna be fully committed to tattooing. I'm gonna see what I can, how good I can get. It was a pretty smooth transition because I always liked drawing.
Simply trying to change the industry standard of how people work. I don't want it to be a factory. I believe everybody in every industry have creativity. Right? Both my parents are engineers. All of my cousins are like physicians and engineers and stuff. So I'm the only person that's in art, and from seeing what goes on in their industry, I really don't want to duplicate it. Like what happened is they go to work 9 to 5, they spend most of their time at work, not comfortable, and then they go home, they have to answer to their bosses and a whole bunch of things. So they dedicate their entire life to an arbitrary purpose that doesn't even serve them. How can you be good at something when you don't want to be good at it, right? When you don't want to do it.
This is after you put the stencil on. Amanda, there you go.
What's the next step?
Putting a needle in. I was a musician before. And I'm a local. I live literally like 376 steps from the shop. And I would be just a belligerent, drunken mess all the time. Yi and Alula, the shop manager before, they would have to drive me to the LCBO or wherever before I got into heavy withdrawal symptoms. I got into a mess. I was a musician, things were getting murky. I was losing judgment and focusing more on the musician lifestyle than the music. So I got my license back, decided to clean up, and I felt like I still need to do something artistic. So I learned how to draw, put all my time into drawing. Yi was helping me learning how to tattoo realism. And I've been just putting hours every day from like 12 to 12.
Wow.
And right now, this is where I'm at, which is not bad.
So the idea of it is create a structure that people actually want to be here, people actually want to contribute, because there's an aspect of importance that they serve you. There's an aspect of almost like a impact that they can create through this path. They can create something, therefore they care about what they create. And all we do here is to make sure that their integrities are in place and they are heading into a good route. It's like we kind of try to inspire them to look certain ways rather than this is a system and this is a structure and you must follow it. I don't know if it's gonna work, right, as a business, but I have faith that, you know, as millennials and this generation of people, a lot of industry standards will change. And I'm probably just one of those dudes that try something. If it works, beautiful. If it doesn't, we'll try something else. I feel like the company in the next 5 to 10 years, to be honest, I can't say for sure, because I believe that if you can predict the next 10 years of your life, you're in the wrong life, you know what I mean? I do believe that we need to grow into a comfortable size. Right now, because the attractions, that the way how PlayHouse functions has towards people, we have welcomed a lot of really talented, really great people to kind of join us. Because of that, we're kind of getting too big of a size for the facility that we're in. We're limited by the physical structure that we have, right? And so I'm thinking that the way how this structure will work, I don't think the way how we function this business, the thing I just said, will be able to allow like 100 people kind of companies or more than that, because it will be extremely chaotic. People wouldn't function nearly as well, like the system would not be in place nearly as well for the company to actually make money and to have a good direction. So what I'm thinking is we might want to grow to like a 20 to 25 people company and maintain that into a structure where all of our employees and our clients are basically well managed, well maintained, happy. The vision for the next location is that, this is the vision, don't know how possible it is, but the vision for it is that we want to build almost like an indoor playground where you have like stress relief places, where you have a rock climbing wall, you have like a pit of like foams that you can jump in, you know, like fun shit, right? You have like, of course, the generic beanbags and, you know, and video games, right? Like we want to create a place where people can actually go there and relax. We have chill lounges, and then we have like galleries all around, so that it creates this mood of just art, right? Creates this like, almost like, I want to create almost, not exactly, but close to the feeling when you step into 16 Chapel and feel the grandness of how rich the artwork is. I want to create that environment, plus the feeling of somebody can just go and have fun. So that my 25 employees and thousands of clients that shows up every year can just almost have an experience that they won't ever forget. One of my happiest things to do is that employees telling me that they don't feel like it's work, right? They feel like this is a place that they'd rather be here than to be home. We literally have artists that would stay here like for the entire night just because they don't want to go home. It's way more fun here than it is, and people have called PlayHouse their home. That's the thing that motivates me a lot, so I think for the next 5 to 10 years, the vision will always stay into that realm of things. I want to create companies that have that quality. There's a lot, man. There's a lot. First, don't freak out. You know, just don't freak out at all. The world have its own balance. You know, they'll always balance things out. When you freak out, that's when you fuck up, right? We think that if we don't freak out, we're gonna fuck up. But realistically, just maintain calm at all times. Don't let depression hit you. You know, mental health is a big thing. Don't overwork yourself. Never overwork yourself. But I would say, like, if anything, choose your actions wisely. Choose your words wisely. You know, most of the time I would say doing a business that it takes long to get to the point that you want to isn't because it takes a long time itself, is because you're correcting mistakes that you made already, right? All the time. If you just do it right the first time and spend that extra bit, like, do some research, you know, ask people, ask for help. Don't let your ego control you. That's it. I think for the tattoo industry, to be honest, social media may be one of the most important things, especially Instagram, right? It's a visual platform where it's perfect for people to market tattoo and their personalities, have people come into and know who you are. Generally speaking of social media, everybody in the shop, the oldest person is what, like 28? 30? Oh, Kristen, yeah, the oldest person is 30. We're all millennials. So as a generation of millennials, social media is in our blood. We grew up with that. It's so ingrained in our culture. You know, we have a pretty strong culture, and that is based off of social media. And no matter what, like, for any type of business, for any type of like marketing way, social media may be the only way to go nowadays. Like, not only way, but one of the strongest, definitely. When's the last time you ever even questioned somebody taking a picture of their food and posting it on Instagram story? You don't question that anymore, right? At one point we questioned that because that was when things were new. Now we're so used to that culture that when people start taking selfies and they start vlogging, when they're like out there just doing their things, you almost don't even notice it because of how often that happens. It's probably one of the biggest things in part of our lives right now. It's like, who goes on vacation and doesn't take a picture? You know what I mean? Like, who doesn't go on social media and be like, hey, look, beaches. A lot of time people even go on vacation just for that. So I feel like it's a big motivation for society, and it's weird, but it's good and bad, right? It has positives and negatives that comes. To be honest, social media marketing was always there, but it wasn't like taken care of. It was always like, okay, we need to do social media marketing. I think we only started doing it when we opened the shop. I think the first time when we realized that nobody's in the shop. It was just me and my business partner and one other apprentice at the time, and it was just like, okay, we need to find a way to pay rent. You know, we need to find a way to actually get people in the doors so that we can survive. So that was the first time, the first immediate thought is, okay, we need to be more popular. We need to go to more parties, host more parties, post more photos, be more interactive on Instagram. So that was kind of the first, we didn't think about social media marketing, but we were in the steps to do it. And then after a while, when we start actually making money, that's when we start getting people like Jiggy to come in and to actually help us with the marketing aspect of things. Things just been on a smooth rise, you know. Because I think everybody uses it, right? Like, even including my dad, you know, who is totally not millennial, and he's on his phone all the time, right? So like, there's a fundamental power that social media has. It's not a thing that just happened. It's like internet, right? The reason why internet becomes such a big thing is because humans have this tendency of being connected to everybody. We have to be connected. No human group, organisms, or species or races has ever became successful in survival by individuals. It's always became successful in survival in groups of people. And anything, I believe, attaches us to be able to hyper socialize between each individual is a very, very powerful and attractive and addicting thing. It's a powerful thing. I can connect with somebody over the seas and know exactly who they're about. I can connect with like thousands of people in an instant, right? And that's powerful. We want to make sure that people who come by PlayHouse makes the right decision. In my opinion, there's a lot of tattoo shops and tattoo artists out there just simply do not care about artwork. They go and they just do the tattoos, say, okay, give me a piece, I'm gonna do it, it's cool. That to me is kind of like me going to a lawyer and telling the lawyer how to write my contract, right? It doesn't make sense. I don't know anything about law. how do I even know what things I need to know? I don't study that. I came to a professional producer. But for a tattoo artist, it's the same thing. When somebody comes in, a lot of times they bring artworks. It's not because they necessarily want that specific piece. It's because they saw that piece first and they are attracted to it. For us, what we're trying to do is first ask a lot of like core values of why they want to get the piece, what are they motivated, and then from there we kind of take a judgment whether or not the piece that they bring to us fits that. So then we give suggestions like, what about this? What do you think about that, right? But instead of getting a clock, maybe you want to get a compass, right? Maybe things that you want to do that's supposed to be a little bit generic, but I know you're the type of person that wants unique things. To really work with the client and make sure that it's like, it's the proper decision for them. And of course, have them not regret their tattoo. That's a huge factor. You don't pay like a really high price so that you could pay another high price to cover that. You know what I mean? Like, no, like, and plus there's a lot of psychological reasons behind it. People get extremely insecure and shit. When they get a bad tattoo, they don't want to show their body. I think that's just such a negative effect that tattoo can create compared to the positive effect that tattoos can create. Right?
That's true. Cool. So thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for tuning into the type of things we do here at PlayHouse Tattoo Studio. I hope you guys got the vibe. You know, that's one of the biggest things. We want to welcome you guys to come in and join our family, join our movement, create a community. And if you guys want to check us out, go on our website, playhousetattoos.com, or on PlayHouse Tattoos on Instagram. If you guys want to find us, to be honest, just Google PlayHouse Tattoos, and we're very close to square one, so you guys should be able to get here pretty easily. All right.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. You can also Google, we're the best shop ever.